We've got another Browns free agent signing. This time it is former Houston Texans pass rusher Obo Okoronkwo coming over to Cleveland. We're going to break this down for you guys on today's Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson standing here for, the third or fourth time today, because the Browns keep making some moves. Maybe not big, splashy moves like Dre'Mont Jones, but hey, we are going to discuss the latest signing of Obo Okoronkwo. So I think I got that right. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to call him Obo for short moving forward. But Ian Rappaport was the first one to tweet out some of the details. Obo is signing with the Browns, getting a 3-year deal worth $19 million with a chance to make $22 million. He gets $12.5 guaranteed. Hand up. When I first saw this, my first reaction was not jump out of my seat. Yes, the Browns signed my dream free agent target. It was a little bit of, who? And maybe I'm not alone. Now, I will say initially, I was a bit skeptical, but I was a bit pessimistic about the move. But I have let Browns Twitter sort of bring me over and buy in on this being a good signing for the Browns. Now, let's look at his career stats. The former LA Ram who was with the Houston Texans, by the way, former Oklahoma Sooner as well, which you know how much Andrew Berry loves getting Oklahoma guys on his roster to piss off Sooner fans who are still mad about Baker. But last year for the Texans, he had 5 sacks. Pro Football Reference credited him with 17 pressures. I've seen different numbers tossed around, but we'll roll with Pro Football Reference for now. Before that, with the Rams, he struggled to stay healthy. He struggled to stay on the field. Minimal-ish performances, or contributions rather. 1.5 sack, 1 sack, 2 sacks. But Obo Okoronkwo, no, I can't even get it back right. Obo, we're going to go with that. Like I said, former Oklahoma Sooner. And there's a lot of buzz right now, a lot of positivity around this signing. Him joining with Myles Garrett. He looks to be the opposite defensive end. He'll kind of make that transition from outside linebacker. I was watching some of his highlights. He's very athletic. That's probably the first thing that jumps out to me, is he's not just some bull rusher who's going to beat the offensive tackle. No, he can go step for step with running backs out in the flat. He can make a tackle anywhere on the field. Now, let's get some positivity, because the Browns made a signing. So, yes, I'm going to buy in on it right now. I'll drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid, get a little bit drunk off of it. But more for you, Cleveland, tweeting out some positivity in the air about Obo signing with the Browns. New Browns defensive end, I'm just going to say Obo, had the 3rd highest pressure rate, 16.4% in the NFL among defenders with 200-plus pass rushes. And this is sort of like when we get sort of baseball-y with like batting average doesn't matter. It's all about OPS. Sacks are important, but pressures are really important to GMs, because pressures tell the defense or tell coaches how many plays did the offense get out of sync, right? Even if it didn't result in a sack, maybe resulted in an incomplete pass or a throwaway. And a lot of times that can be just as good as a sack, because it's a wasted play for the offense. So Obo might not have converted a lot of those pressures into sacks, but that's getting just step by step closer and building off of that. Pete Prisco, a great NFL, inside reporter from CBS. I thought you guys might like to see this. Tweeted out, Brown signing Okoronkwo, I think I nailed it, will be a sneaky good signing. Young, ascending player, now gets to play opposite Myles Garrett. Love that move. So if Pete Prisco likes it, yeah, I'll buy in on it. Initially I didn't, but I was like, all right, everyone else seems to like it. Maybe I won't be in the minority for this camp. It's not overly expensive. 3-year, $19 million. We're talking about, $6.5-ish million a season, somewhere in that range. So here's my question. Have you ever heard of Obo before? Or were you like probably a lot of Browns fans who saw this and go, huh? Because I had not talked about him before on the show. I had not seen other Browns YouTube spots or other Browns outlets discuss the idea of signing Obo. So be honest with me. No shame. Type Y for yes or N for no. We got some signings to recap here. Ethan Posick, Sion Takitaki, and Obo are the 3 moves the Browns have made so far today in free agency. So if you're a little bit out of the loop, that's what you've missed so far. But let's get back to the main character right now. Obo, where does he slot in on these Browns defensive line? Here is the Browns defensive line depth chart. I've got him opposite of Myles Garrett. I think he will be ahead of Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas on this depth chart. And I've already promoted a Perrion Winfrey being the starter alongside Jordan Elliott. I don't see them bringing Taven Bryan back, so I'll pretty much put Perrion Winfrey, at least in pencil for now, as the starting defensive tackle on this line as well. But that is my projected defensive line depth chart for the Browns as things stand right now. We're going to get to more news and analysis and even some rumors later on in the show. But for the latest Browns news and rumors, make sure to hit that sub button. You guys know that I ask every video pretty much to keep getting those subscribers. The reason being, the more subs we get, the more studio space I get, and the more content you get. I've already had a couple beers right now in NFL Daily, so I don't think I'm having a coherent English performance right now. But make sure to subscribe. That way we can get more live Browns content for the Dog Pound. All right, we're going to get to look at some rumors in just a moment, but 3-year, $19 million contract. This does not get in the way of signing Dre'Mont Jones. I do think this nips any possibility of like a Yannick Ngakoue or even like a DeForest Buckner move. I think this confidently cements the opposite defensive end of Myles Garrett. So now it's about the Browns trying to improve from Jordan Elliott to Dre'Mont Jones and having that be the line. Although, if the line is Myles Garrett, Dre'Mont Jones, Perrion Winfrey, and Obo, 4 pass rushers, no run stoppers. I'll let that simmer for just a second. But we'll cross that bridge if we get there. Some other news to hit on here around the NFL. Schefter tweeted out that Falcons are giving former Bengals safety Jesse Bates a 4-year, $64 million deal that includes $23 million guaranteed, $23 million year one, and $36 million in the first 2 years of the deal. Per source, he is now the 4th highest paid safety in NFL history. That comes out to an average of $16 million a season. I thought Jesse Bates would get closer to 20 than 16. I thought he'd be the 18 to 19 echelon of safety market, but $16 million, pretty good deal for the Falcons if you ask me. But that goes another Browns target kind of up in smoke. Javon Hargrave, Jesse Bates, 2 guys the Browns were heavily rumored to be pursuing in free agency. It sounds like Cleveland lost out to San Francisco for Hargrave. I'm not sure if they were very competitive or aggressive in trying to get Jesse Bates. But if it came down to money, $16 million a season, 4 years, 64. I don't think that is earth-shattering type of money where the Browns couldn't match what Atlanta offered. So maybe the Browns did make an offer and Bates had his pick of the litter and he decided to go south. Hard to say. Now, I do want to share this with you guys. I saw it on Twitter. It was Benjamin Albright quote tweeting a rumor about where Dre'Mont Jones could be headed to, and he said, "It appears Cleveland is the leader in the clubhouse." Now, this was before the Obo signing. I don't think this gets in the way of that. Oh, bad voice crack. But I don't think it's necessarily good for the possibility of Dre'Mont Jones being signed. Who knows? I may be full of shit, but I just go back to Myles Garrett, Dre'Mont Jones, Perrion Winfrey, and Obo. If that's your starting defensive line, not one run stopper outside of Myles Garrett, but that's not really what he's paid to do. So for that reason, if Dre'Mont Jones is next on the radar and his lack of run-stopping abilities, I'm a bit queasy, not going to lie, given how important it was for the Browns to get some run stoppers, and they go heavy pass rushers. But if that's what Jim Schwartz is dialing up, we'll see how it works out. But let me know, which signing hurts more, the Hargrave one or the Bates one? I'm going to go with Hargrave, but I do think the Bates one stings a little bit because it wasn't as big as a contract as I thought it might be. So then you look at it, go, the Browns didn't make an offer like that. It wasn't like the Falcons reset the safety market and you go, all right, tip your cap. Atlanta had the second most cap space. Cleveland couldn't go step for step with them. I understand. Ultimately, fourth highest safety contract. Everyone loves to be the next number one. Not the case. So I'm going to go with Hargrave because it sounds like the Browns were so close to getting him, and that stings a lot. But Bates is not far behind.